Here are a bunch of examples of diffusion and osmosis. This first one is just showing a sped up version of food coloring in water, and just wanted you to see that the food coloring will diffuse through the water. It will spread itself out to areas where there's less concentration of food coloring until it reaches equilibrium where it's fully spread out through the whole glass. The second example is in raisins. You can try this experiment at home, just soaking raisins in water I think I let them go for like 3 hours. And so you can see they start out really dried out. And then after I take them out in a little while, you'll see what happens. I should have done this when I took them out. I should also have had a couple next to the bowl that were not soaked so you could really see the difference. But when you take them out, they're really plump. They've expanded. You can tell water has gone into the cells in the raisins because there's less water in the raisin, so the water goes into the raisin. In this example, you're going to see diffusion of tea into the water that the tea is soaking in. But I also want you guys to think about how when you take a tea bag out of a mug of water, it feels heavier, and that's because water has also diffused into the cells of the tea. And tea is made of cells. It's made of plant leaves. So through osmosis, water is going into the leaves, and the tea essence is diffusing out into the water. So here you can see how the tea bag has swelled, and that's the leaves have soaked in the water. The water's gone into the cells of the plant. And then finally, I've got that example of, in case you didn't watch this earlier, of a potato soaking in fresh and salt water. I added a ton of salt just to really exaggerate it. Any salt will do. You just put about equal size pieces of potato or apple or carrot or celery or turnip, whatever. Put them one in fresh water and one in salt water, and then you let them soak for a while. I let mine soak for a really long time, so I would get like kind of an exaggerated result. So the freshwater piece of potato, the one that had been soaking in there, really snapped when I broke it. And the one that had been soaking in salt water, so much water had left the potato and gone into the salt water because there was more water in the cells of the potato than there was in the salt water. It was more highly concentrated water. And water had gone into the freshwater potato. All right, and then finally, we've got this experiment, the naked egg, which hopefully some of you guys did. It's actually really weird and really cool, but you can soak an egg in vinegar. I think I let it soak for like 5 hours. Actually, I might have let it soak overnight, now that I think about it. And you just cover an egg. It can be a white egg or brown egg, whatever. Cover it in vinegar, and the vinegar will chemically react with the shell of the egg and basically dissolve the eggshell. Once the eggshell is gone, there's just like a membrane holding the egg together, and it feels kind of like a rubber ball. So I found the mass of the egg now with the shell gone, and the mass was 77.8 grams. I kind of blotted the egg dry, put it on, my triple beam balance, which I stole from the school. So then I had to choose what I wanted to soak it in. So I chose to soak mine in water, but you can soak it in corn syrup. I let it soak overnight. You could soak it in maple syrup, you can soak it in salt water, whatever you want. Just kind of see what happens. Does water go in or does water leave the egg? So as you can see here, now the mass is 83.7 grams, which means that by soaking the egg in fresh water, it gained 5.9 grams of water. Water went into the egg because there was a higher concentration of pure water outside of the egg in the water than in the egg itself. So through osmosis, water moved in through the membrane around the egg into the egg. It would be really interesting now to take that egg and put it in something else and see what happens, and I think I'm going to do that. So I would highly recommend doing any of these experiments at home, playing around with it, if you have anything like this at your house. So have fun. Let me know what you find out.